Welcome to NFL News with Sylvester. The cold readings and analysis behind the desk is your co host, Sylvester. All right, Sylvester, let's start with the first news, which is going to be the tush push is not going to be banned. And Sylvester, I think there's two big reasons with the ban on the tush push. The obvious would have been the safety factor. For old folks like me that remember reading in history books, like I'm talking sports history books back in the day, 1980, I used to go to the library. I used to remember reading, like, I don't know exactly what year it was, 80, 81, or 82, or 79, where the football was dangerous and it was good, possibly be banned at one time in the United States of America because of there was deaths from people playing, from participants playing football. And then the forward pass came, which significant somehow I guess some other rule changes must have been in play, and that significantly rule changed the outcome of football games where just instead of getting killed, it's just to know that uh, like how you say it, like life altering injuries, because let's face facts here. Medical help wasn't like it is today. I mean, I could imagine a torn ACL. You're pretty well done for the rest of your life with that torn ACL. And there's no rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Just more like hopefully just have not have a gimp, or So so the safety factor was not in play for the to ban it, and then the other factor is the competition committee is was it unfair, and now a couple they figured that just a couple of teams were really good at it, and it wasn't that I was becoming like every team that implemented the tush push would guarantee over 90% success rate, because it's only you only the play was designed originally, I think, for less than a yard, and it's almost like something they wouldn't. I hate to say this to NFL purists, as they say, but Sylvester, we are in Ontario, and of course, we know of the CFL. We do CFL games, live stream just Hamilton Tiger Cats, and they're 1 yard off the ball, and I think that would have no need for a tush push. I don't. I don't. If you CFL, the defense has to be a yard away from scrimmage at the start, and that would totally annihilate the idea of having a tush push. You don't really need it. You don't really need it. Is you only need if you. It's not now. If you're trying to tush push for 2 yards, now we're talking the problem here. Now that's not what the design of the tush push is. The design is just to guarantee at least a yard, and because of the head to head, like you're off, because the way the defense is right on the scrimmage line instead of being a yard back. I think that the NFL should look into just pushing the offense a yard back, and that way third downs become like second and short in the CFL. If it's less than a yard, you should be able to get it without resorting to a punt on the third down because of the short distance, the opposing team defense is a yard off the ball, off the scrimmage line. So if the NFL adopted that rule, then the third down would just be a regular quarterback sneak, and they don't even have to put the quarterback in. And look at the CFL; they don't put the actual starting quarterback most of the time in the the little scamper, the 1 yard scampers when you're running around. Sorry, that 1 yard run. So like that would be a different. I guess that would be a whole different avenue we'd have to go down if we're talking. Should the defense just be a yard off the scrimmage line like the CFL and the NFL? Like should the NFL defense be 1 yard away from the scrimmage line, just like the CFL? I think probably for player safety, it probably is a good idea, but uh, because it's a CFL thing, it's not going to be really adapted to NFL. A lot of pushback, with this. Why did like just saying? There's a lot of things. Sylvester, I know you give me that look like you're going off on all different directions, but there's other things too. Like I'm I'm of the belief that the NFL should have went to bigger fields back in the 70s, like 80s. Like any new stadium, like say 1980s. Okay, any new stadium has to be built with the new dimensions of a football field. If the current stadium can't hold put in that dimension, like I would put it at least 15 yard field end zones, 15-yard end zones. That would have put the ball back. The goalpost putting the goalpost five more yards deeper in the end zone in the NFL. That would have been better for field goals, because field goals now, you know, you they're getting into the if a field goal can't be what do you have to do is all you have to do now is get to the 40 yard. If you can get at the 40, which makes it 50, you still gotta it's still gotta bring the ball quite a bit to to uh, to just to win the game on a field goal. You got at least a team has to at least bring the ball to the 35, because then 35 becomes the 45, and then it's only a 50. Yeah, then it becomes like a 52 yarder. A 52 yarder in today's NFL, it's pretty well. You should have a kicker that should be able to do it. There's a big difference between being able to kick the ball that distance and being able to successfully kick the ball on a regular basis and through the uprights, not just the distance, because it's when the team's running at them to block it. That's when things change. That's when everything changes. Becomes a successful field goal kicker in the NFL and CFL for any football game, and just and someone with a good leg. I mean, just say, Sylvester, what if I could kick 60-yard field goals? But does that mean I can make NFL? I could probably kick 60-yard field goals with a tee, but that doesn't count once the game starts. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. The Bills one year, they had the kicker that could do the touchbacks, and the kicker that could do the touchbacks, and then they had the regular field goal kicker, Dan Carpenter. And I can understand. And so that player safety wasn't a factor. The advantages wasn't a factor either. They're saying so. I guess they're just gonna leave the tush push in for now. So the tush push stays, Sylvester. Now I'm looking now, Sylvester, the NFL, the kickoff rules. The format would be to have it like the XFL had. That's one proposal that's being done right now. I'm trying to look up if anything's happening with it right now. Is it yay or nay? I didn't see anything yet. It just says malls, and if mostly it's just about NFL malls, meaning like they're kind of looking at it. Still, I guess the players. I don't think as the owners meeting. I've said players meeting. No, owners meeting. Is it over this week? I'm pretty sure it's over today. I'm not sure. I never looked that up either yet. So, but the proposal is, Sylvester, that the NFL is going to try, like they're looking at the idea of if uh, the kickoff format would be like the XFL, which I'm not. Uh, I mean, I'm not sure if it's like, I'm not poo pooing it. I'm not one of those. Oh, you poo poo the idea. I mean, it's. I would say not this year. It's such. If you want to look into it, like change it for next year. It's too. It's just your first. The first meetings you bring up that. I think it's. I think it's. There's just not enough time for every 32 teams to figure out what they're gonna do. I mean, it would make it just. It would just make it too. The like integral part and integral part of the game, where it shouldn't be. That's the big problem I'd have with this investor is you've made the kickoff okay from like okay touchbacks fine because that's I mean you just a team just marched down the field as they say and scored a touchdown or a field goal, which I'm gonna get into that one too. Why don't they just do like the field goals? You just put the ball on the 25-yard line after a field goal. Like they kick a field goal. Why does there have to be a kickoff? That's one. That's the one thing they didn't. Like I guess no one brought up is this. Why don't they just cut down the amount of kickoffs? First of all, start off with my opinion is start off with the kickoffs where uh, you you do you kick off after a field goal? Why? Why would you need to kick off after a field goal? I mean, they kicked the ball away, so it seems fair to me. A team has fourth down. They kick the ball away, as in like when a team is kicking the field goal. When it's a kick or a punt, when the foot is used, the to move the ball like that that you kind of like it's like okay you've given up possession of the ball. Now you have to get the possession back from the ball either through a fumble on that play or a drop like a fumble like a drop. When I meant fumble as in if the player runs the ball back, the football back with on a punt or a kickoff and fumbles. Now that the team that kicked off gets the ball, it gets to retain possession. Now, on this other thing I'm saying is, on a punt, same thing. Someone punts the ball. That's literally just giving up the possession of it. It could even team can punt on third down if they want. They can actually punt on first down, but we've get into that one. There's been actual a second down. A team actually punted on second down. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Hard to believe that one. Buddy Ryan was the coach. I don't understand that call. You could try to. I don't know if you could. I don't know if anybody could try to sit down. I'll like you're sitting at the desk right there. I'll listen for 1 hour. How tried to explain how kicking on second down was a good move when you had you gave up 3 downs. You could have punted on the fourth. You didn't even or maybe you didn't have to punt if you would have. I totally lost on that one. That one I'm just beyond lost on kicking on the second down. That and it really happened. But once again, that's just to prove my point that you could the team can actually punt on second and first down if they want, but that's giving the ball that's giving the possession away when punting. Now, throwing or running with the ball, that's just losing it down. If not, obviously, if not the first down is made. Now, so on a field goal, okay, yes, the team there's the risk and awards, but we'll go with the award first, which is obvious, which I stated. The award is on a successful field goal kick, the team is awarded 3 points. Now, on an unsuccessful field goal kick and no return, and the other team does not return the ball back because it goes out of bounds or just lets it drop. The ball, that's the risk. The ball is placed where the team missed the field goal. It's the spot now where the team missed the field goal. So now we're like, that's a big risk you got to factor into. So now it's almost as if like you're better off going for these field goals. Now here's how it works out. It's actually going to make things like if you're going to have to kick off on a field goal anyways. Okay, so it's like you might as well kick field goals. What's the point? Like, I mean, especially because remember that becomes a 50+ yard field goal, right? Well, before it was like, well, we could pooch punt it at least and keep them in the 20. But now, try to keep the team in the 20 because remember, punts still go to the 20-yard line, not 25, if it goes into the end zone. Now it's like you might as well kick if the ball is on the 40-yard line, especially if it's the 30-yard line. You might as well go for field goals all the time. I see where because you're what's the difference? You're gonna if you want to kick it in the end zone, is going to be to the 40-yard line anyways. The penalty is the 40-yard line, so it's like you might as well just kick the field goal attempts. You're just going to see a lot more field goal attempts being made with the rule change that like. If they changed, what I'm trying to say, sorry, Sylvester, I went ahead of myself here. What I'm trying to say is that if they went with the rule change with kickoffs, the XFL style, it's you're getting jeopardized twice for scoring a field goal. Then you got to kick it off. I mean, you might as well, like, I don't know. I mean, when it's a very close game, it's like you're better off just kicking the ball and taking that touchback penalty and get it to the 40-yard line. What's the point of giving the team a chance to even return the ball? That's only 20. It's a 15-yard. I mean, look at it. It's actually a 15-yard penalty. A 15-yard penalty for kicking it in for not wanting the team to return a touchdown. You already risked. I mean, there's. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make for like a very super fair system. Who said that? Like, where kickoffs? Just because the kickoffs. What's the diff? Because kickoffs weren't like the way they are now. With you know, you got you know, in my generation, you still had like people that were like saying, "Oh, they use the soccer style kick." I was like, "No, that's just a more accurate way to do it. It's just a much more accurate way to kick the field goal on a regular basis. It's not like it's just because Mark Mosley, like the Washington Redskins, would have been the last of the toe punt kickers, where they just straight on head to the ball and then kick the ball. Um, if it was so good, you'd see more people trying it. But like, yeah, it's just I think it's just its limits. I don't. It's just, and then yeah, it's I don't know. I think your team's getting penalized twice for kicking the ball away as a field goal, and then getting it successful, and then oh, by the way, you got to kick it off. Like, at least eliminate the kickoffs on the field goals. That part. Get I I don't know what should they do this play for? Just one time, like once at half. If you want to keep this kickoff rule, okay, you only need it once to start the game, and once to start the second half. The rest, and I guess overtime, obviously overtime, and third time is overtime. The rest, give the team the ball at the 25-yard line. End the story. I mean, it just keeps the idea of having a kickoff, but kind of like, I mean, because, well, with the with the XFL style kickoff, they would never be able to, a team would never be able to surprise another team. But the chances of that happening is slim nowadays. Uh, to surprise onside kick, yeah, the XFL rule would totally eliminate the onside kick. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, or doesn't make sense to. It's like you might as well just go for onside kicks. If you're gonna kick it in the end zone anyways, you might as well go for onside kicks. That way, you get the possession back, and it was gonna get at the 40-yard line anyways. I mean, that's my opinion. If, yeah, well, Sylvester, I've been looking through all the rules, proposal changes, and on this kickoff, and I'm going to have to correct something I said earlier, which is that team might as well go a team in the NFL if they did these new XFL style kickoff returns. The team that's kicking off might as well go for onside kicks, because you can't really go for an onside kick in this new rule. I just totally forgot about that. There's no way you can go for an onside. There's no onside kicks as the format allows. The XFL had first and 15, so that's going to be a whole new dimension to that they the, like we're not there isn't anything on the proposal yet. I haven't seen anything, yay or nay, like I said earlier. But I could imagine there must have been some owners that must have brought up okay. What do we do? How do we replace the onside kick with the first? Do they do the first and 15 like the XFL would do? Which I suppose if you and then like do you do it all the time? So starting from what used to be the 40 or the 35 or whatever it is to kick it off at. So first and 15. No, it's fourth and 15. Sorry, fourth and 15. And so if the team does not get a first down, then the ball is in possession of the other team. Do they? That's so. That's possibly why it's. I'm gonna guess that it's not going to happen. It's just too fast. Too. Everything's just happening too fast. To. It's. I think. I'm just thinking like it's just happening too fast to do all these rule changes, and then yeah, there's just too many. There's just I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't think it's gonna happen. I could be wrong, Sylvester. I could be wrong, and next thing you know, breaking news, which is gonna make insanely breaking news, which is NFL is going to revamp the kickoff and implement the XF, and that's the words that they don't want. That's probably a lot of the owners don't want to hear those words. XFL rules. That's probably what's going to put the kibosh on it this time. They don't want to hear those words from the XFL, and it's too, like I said. I think they might just give it another year. That's my opinion, but that's just my opinion. But and like I said, Sylvester, I could be wrong, and we could be having a special edition of the new XFL rules. I guess who's going to explain that one? Coach Coyote. Coach Coyote will explain the new I'm sorry, the new kickoff. See how I said XFL? I don't think the NFL wants to have their product associated with a startup league that was the XFL, which merged into the USFL and became the UFL this season. So that's gonna be a tough one to overcome. Uh, like the majority of owners, if I was an NFL owner, I'm probably one of the younger ones. Uh, at even my age, I'm probably one of the younger owners. Even like you're looking at Terry Pagula, he's like in his 70s, I think it is. But yeah, like when you look at the average age of NFL owners, they're yeah they're so I don't think it. I just don't think it's gonna happen this year. But I could be wrong. I could just be totally wrong. But I don't see enough of them voting it for this year. Maybe give it a second look and come back to the table next season and give us time to look it over. But we'll see from there, eh, Sylvester? Well, I went out to this story, Sylvester, and it's the Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's like it's. I read the article, and I'm just my takeaway is like, okay, slow NFL news day, because it's not. It's almost like you're looking for a story, and this is one that fits the time of the month when there's not much news happening. So what it is okay. So what it is, Sylvester, is the one NFL executive says that the Pittsburgh Steelers with such pay as in signing a contract with Russell Wilson, league minimum at 1.5, and possibly uh, could release him if Fields outperforms him in the training camp, and if they start Russell Wilson, if they start Justin Fields over Russell Wilson, that they might just release him. And I'm just thinking, well, let's we that is far into the future. Uh, there hasn't even been a mini training camp yet. There's still a draft to happen, and we're already talking like this is already talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers could move on from Russell Wilson, who they just signed for the league minimum veteran league minimum 1.5 mil, and it's like, wait, hold on, like you haven't even seen if Russell Wilson doesn't mind even being a backup. Like, I think that's really, really, as they say, the back in the days, jumping the starting gun. The runners at your mark, get set. Okay, this news item was just bang. No, the gun didn't go off. Or the I mean the it's not so much the gun. There used to be a gun. I don't know what they use now. I don't know if they still use. They don't use a gun anymore. It's probably more accurate. Let's just see that I stepped into that one, and I'll go back to what I'm. Well, yeah, I just looked at it. It's kind of complicated issue right now with the starter pistol. Like, I would say, yeah, it's probably electronic beeps are about a little bit better, but it's kind of there's so many things that can go wrong even with a starter pistol. So what I'm saying is that yeah, they're jumping the jumping that one with that story to the Russell Wilson will be possibly already released. It's like, I don't know. I mean, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and reading that story, you're like oh, come on, man. It's like, hey, man, we haven't even started spring training yet. Not even, never mind that. We haven't even started mini camp yet, and we're already talking Russell Wilson's release. I don't know. You haven't even, like I said, you haven't even asked him if he's. This is so hypothetical. Um, just because the Pittsburgh Steelers said, yeah, Russell Wilson's our starter right now, a starting quarterback, and Justin Fields is coming in to, just come in and see if it works out. They both they both are grown men. Now Russell Wilson is gonna have a lot of money paid out to him from the Denver Broncos. Like Russell Wilson is, it's like it's kind of like I'm making a statement for my argument and against my argument, which is that, like, Russell Wilson, does he need the money from Pittsburgh, the 1.5 mil? No. We're talking millions and millions of dollars here that he's already going to get paid to play, not even to play football game. He doesn't even have to play a football game. He's been released by the Denver Broncos. So they just have to pay him out his contract and take the cap, whatever they hit, like whatever it is on the cap, they have to take, like towards signings, like the loss towards the signings of other players. yeah. So I you know, the the person who has most to gain is Justin Fields, because Justin Fields wants to continue playing the NFL because his career is a lot, you know, just started practically in NFL terms, and all you have to do is have that. There's it the 50-year option of so many millions if it works out. Now, yeah, that's like, I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers is just what they're doing is they're just in a so unique uh, situation when it comes to their quarterbacking situation, which is they didn't they don't they don't want Kenny Pickett in their future. Uh, Mason Rudolph, yeah, they know what they got. Mason Rudolph, he was, and then of course Mitchell Trubisky, like that ship sailed. That ship sailed with Mitchell Trubisky after what happened with how he got substituted for uh, Mason Rudolph, and then I don't know, Kenny Pickett. This it's just, and then all of a sudden had you got this Russell Wilson being released. I mean, if Russell Wilson was not released by the Denver Broncos, I mean, they would have probably kept Pickett, and then took and then took Justin Fields. But I was just saying that, like, it's such a weird situation in Pittsburgh, but they're going to rely on defense and run the ball and defense. It looks like, Sylvester. Okay, so I think it's a little too early to. That story is just a little too early to read the article on. I'm just reading this story now with the Joe Flacco. Definitely grateful to have a spot with the Indianapolis Colts, but is a little surprised that he has have had a decent offer from the Cleveland Browns. Um, yeah, what do you, Joe Flacco, 39. Uh, I mean, the Browns are committed to Deshaun Watson. They put so much money into Deshaun Watson, not even as a backup, which is kind of, you know, I guess that's what the surprising part is. But so I could see it important being an important part of the Indianapolis Colts. If he doesn't get hurt, the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis, it's going to be the starting quarterback so far. But you know, if, as I said, if Anthony, I didn't say his name, but Anthony Richardson is the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, looked so promising, and then an injury, and then they didn't want to pick up on Gardner Minshew's contract. I'm already guessing because it was just Gardner Minshew is the kind of quarterback I would be happy to be a Gardner Minshew in the NFL. Uh, I mean, going from Jaguars, and then you go into the Philadelphia Eagles, and then ended up at the Colts, and now the Las Vegas Raiders. I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it. if I, like I said, if I all I had was Gardner Minshew's career so far, I'd be happy with it. You know, it's not the money. It's just this. Gardner Minshew probably accumulated a good coin for the working stiff. I mean, as far as if you compare what Gardner Minshew earnings in the NFL is to the average working stiff, I mean, let's get realistic here. Even your high end, like say auto worker, which would be on the high end working stiff. I'm saying like from not having a skill, like as in other than being able to work at an assembly line plant, which is a skill in itself. There's not everyone. I don't think Sylvester back in the day when you were like, let's just say, like when I bought you in '93. Was it like '93 or I think it was '90 or something like that? I can't remember. 1990, I bought you. Remember how I said to the little Blockbusters video stores, seeing you on the wall. Your fur was a lot. Fur was more black like this, but now you see all the little. I leave them in the sunlight. I put them in the window, just looking out the window. I think I should stop doing that. I think he's gonna fade away if I don't. I think I better stop. Yeah, it looks like I better stop putting you in the window, Sylvester. Put another. What do I do? I'm not buying another Sylvester to do that. Maybe it's a good Dollar Mart cat. Just get a cat from the Dollar Mart store and put it in the window because Sylvester's getting fading. He's really fading away on me. Like you could see black here, but you can see the black here, but over here it's got this purplish hue from being in the sun too long. And the red's starting to fade on his nose. That white there is from it's only red at the bottom because that's where the sun doesn't hit it as strong. So yeah, what I was saying is like back then, if I would have been an auto worker, that's on the high end scale. Like, would I have been able to work on the assembly line? I don't think so. There's a certain breed of person that can work on an assembly line. It's just, it's the motivation, the skills, the it's just everything. Especially I'm a bachelor, and I wouldn't have the motivation to stick it out. It's not easy to keep one of those jobs. Even like, they go through a lot of people too. I mean, it's like most people think, oh, go work at this auto plant, and go. Not everyone's cut out to do assembly line work. It's a special breed of person that can do assembly line work. And like I said, there's, there's other, like I'm saying, like, so I, the way my life is now. I mean, I don't really spend much. Don't do much. Health is in horrible shape. I'm tired half the time. I remember I was just saying yesterday. I did a 45-minute video. I was falling asleep during it practically. I had to I had to stop what I was doing and just go like I'm doing right now. I'm getting tired after 44 minutes of just talking to a stuffed puppet, pretending to, to have someone else something else. I could say in this case to interact with, because it's, unless you're reading the straight up news, which I did. I mean, I noticed. I don't. I just don't want to show my face in front of the camera. Still, yeah. I couldn't imagine showing my face in front of the camera, Sylvester, and just looking like I'm tired all the time. I'm I'm just lying down on the I've been lying down this whole time we've been doing this, and like my legs feel kind of. Oh, my legs feel kind of okay. I still hurts, but it's not as severe because I'm not sitting on this chair here. That's what really hurts after I sit on a chair too long. It just hurts. My leg hurts after a while. So, tonight I'll be doing more idea. I try to stay up till at least to 11 o'clock, and I like to. I don't know. See what's I could watch. When it comes to 8 o'clock, there isn't really. Uh, there's not many sports I want to watch right now, except for NFL football. I can't wait for the UFL to start because I can't wait to watch a Saturday night game. Even I see there's one Saturday night game coming up in the UFL, and like I'd rather watch. I'd rather watch you. It's funny, Sylvester. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and I'd rather watch UFL football than NHL hockey playoffs. Even um, I just like I said, I only have the only interest I have left in the NFL is the Toronto Raptors. I'm sorry, Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll get ahead of myself. I'll get to the NBA in a second too. And I'm not a Maple Leaf fan. Like I'm not a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, but I that's the only interest I'll have is if the Leafs are in it because everybody else around me is interested, and I'll have interest in doing a live stream even of playoffs. Well, only 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 Stanley Cup Finals and maybe the last game of say one of maybe the last game of the round four would be like whatever it is before the Stanley Cup playoffs. If the Leafs are doing so good, and I'll live stream Stanley Cup playoff games only if the Leafs are in it. Other than that, I have no interest. It's not. It has to be Toronto. It can't. Ottawa is not good enough. It's too. It's. I'm not in the geographical area of Ottawa. Of course, I'm closer. You know, closer to Toronto, and especially if someone's on the other side of Toronto, not on the more towards Hamilton area and Burlington and Oakville, or even Niagara region, or whatever region they call the out by London area, and then of course Windsor. You're more of a Toronto fan, and it's not this. I don't have anything against Ottawa at all. I mean, but I don't have a history of watching Ottawa Senators games when I was very young. I have a history of watching Toronto Maple Leaf games when I was very young, of course. CBC Hockey Night in Canada, and we'll have to do a video essay one day on the dangers of these pro sports teams just going strict to cable outlets only. At least they're letting the championships like last series go to stay off on over the air, because if the NFL ever does the Super Bowl, this could be football related too. If the NFL ever does cable only, subscription only Super Bowl, the hype won't be there. There just won't be any hype, because that's when they just didn't realize what they like they they actually, like, if there's some NFL executive that actually thinks, a young one, because an older person, an older, that's why NFL don't want to do quick changes. There could be some really young NFL executive, maybe, and young I mean like 35, because that's the kind of world that that's the kind of world NFL is in. Uh, it'd be like, oh yeah, we can make X amount of dollars if we did subscription only Super Bowl and playoffs. Well, we'll start with the playoffs first, right? It's like, yeah, but uh, the way the dwindling dollars to cable stations and that. I mean, do you really want to make the NFL Super Bowl a pay per view event? Uh, you're not just gonna you're not gonna get the interest. It's it's about as interesting to me as the say like a boxing championship, but I don't care. I just I guess there's time in your life you don't realize that you don't like you don't really follow sports like you used to, and NFL used to be so fast for me back in the day. When I watched every sport, like Final Four basketball, even right now, I'm not even kind of tuned into Final Four basketball like I used to be, and like I was right into it before. Uh, I think I think like after 85, 86, 87, I started dwindling down my viewership on NBA in general, and then I think it goes down to what you can't. It's just a life changing. Everything changes, and like I said, I'll start again. Like when it comes to NFL football, I started like in '76, very young. I didn't just started watching football. It wasn't. Remember, football at that time was number three. Basketball was more viewership, and so was Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball used to be like it. Like it used to be it. Okay, I liked football back then more than I did like Major League Baseball, but because of the popularity of Major League Baseball, I even once in a while watched. Can you believe this one, Sylvester? Monday Night Baseball. I still remember. I still remember that time when I went for a huge long bike ride and came back, and Monday Night Baseball was on, and I watched it. It was like, at this day, I still remember it. It's like I actually watched Monday Night Baseball. I baseball. I get to the NBA again soon, but it's it's Toronto Blue Jays. I started liking the Blue Jays in '77 ish. And that's it. I mean, if it's not the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't care. I don't care about baseball at all. It, if it wasn't for the Blue Jays, it's Blue Jays or don't care. Um, NBA Toronto Raptors now. I used back in the day with the Bird versus Johnson days, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird days. Uh, yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I kind of like the Celtics. I don't know why. Bird, Larry Bird. Probably should have picked the Lakers. Wouldn't matter now, anyways. Lakers, Celtics. I would have still just Raptors is fine with me now. Um, I'm gonna say is yeah. I mean those yeah, those were the days. I mean, I I can like watch football, and of course, I watched Monday Night Football, and then the only time I'd see football again was Sunday morning uh, when listening to the pregame shows. And when I first started watching football, there was only two pregame shows, and that was the NFL This Week with CBS, and then NBC had their NFL pregame shows. Uh, I think it was starting at noon. Was it an hour long? It was half an hour. I used to switch between back and forth, but like who had the better and more interesting story. Where and now, back in those days, Sylvester, advertising works. I still can remember all the Miller Lite commercials. Tastes great, less filling, uh, and, and of course probably some Budweiser commercials. And then I remember the biggest thing. The reason I'm making this like I'm making the statement about commercials is that I remember commercials for cigars back in NFL, the NFL Today at CBS, and Garcia Vega was I think one of the brand, and then the Dutch Masters I think another commercial, like I'm saying like back in the day like I still remember that there were cigar commercials, and here I am like very young person, and I know about cigar, and that's advertising works. That's how I remember like my football, and then football was over. And at that time was January, the Super Bowl, and then that was over, and then it was the Pro Bowl. But then that was the real Pro Bowl. They actually need the money. Players actually need the money that to the extra game. They need the money. Not like today's world. But yeah, so it's a changing world, and we'll see from there. But it's hard to believe it's been 57 minutes I've been on this. But as far as Joe Flacco goes, yeah, it was on the Gardner Minshew, like working staff and all that. But yeah, we all change. Everything changes, and we just adjust with what we have. And in this information crazy age, I mean, I'm I'm, I'm struggling to find NFL news, just NFL news only. Like, uh, I probably should only do it once. Sylvester, I think should we only do like once every couple of weeks? Just do NFL news. I think we're kind of. I don't. I don't know if I could do it a weekly segments anymore, Sylvester. There's just not enough NFL news to do a whole show. I mean, I have to like how I have to like talk in between stories, come up with stuff, talk, and it's only because there's not much. I don't have I don't have any news items to even read. Like if I go through the actual like if I let me go through the actual news, okay, just NFL news is without like its projected draft, uh, mock drafts, and other rumors. Actual news, the Joe Flacco one, that's a news item. Joe Flacco definitely grateful to have spot with the Indianapolis Colts. That's a news item. I suppose But here's news too. This is news. I should figure. Here's one more. Okay, so we have to start reaching for players that aren't really named like headline grabbers, like former Titans cornerback Christian Fulton signing with Chargers on 1 year deal. I mean, it's only a 1 year deal, and it's probably not going to be for much. Let's see, 'cause, uh, just a 1 year deal, and Fulton, following 4 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, is signing with the Los Angeles Chargers on one deal. Okay, is flown L.A. to meet Jim Harbaugh, new coach, of course. He's coming off a subpar season, but 1 year deal. I guess that's probably why. I mean, I guess if you, I know, I mean, I guess if you're that player, want to take a chance with your current team that you're going to be on the roster. You're like, you know what? If a team is willing to sign me for 1 year, it's better than not being on the roster at all. Then if you don't know if you're going to be on a roster or not, and there's going to be a lot of those moves coming up pretty soon. Players just signing for just the sake of being on a roster. Like, okay, I'm on a roster. At least I'm gonna get this amount of money before I just kind of disappear off the map on the radar off the NFL radar. Just, yeah, because what is it like? Less the average career span is not very long in the NFL. I mean, you got to take your money while you can, where you can get it. So, yeah, Titans cornerback. It's not even a household name. I don't recognize that name. Like it could have, 32 teams. Titans aren't exactly top of the list of what's going. Am I looking at the Titans? No, pretty well. I've only what is it? Watched them that Monday night. Was it the Monday night or Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears? I did the pregame with Coach Coyote, and just yeah. What am I watching for that game? Well, of course, I'm watching the quarterbacks for next year. That's just the way the league is. And then, oh yeah, here's another one. Is this a news? See, that's like I said, that was a news item. Former Titans cornerback, not quarterback, cornerback Christian Fulton signing with the Chargers. A cornerback is a little tougher than safety. You know what I mean, Sylvester? Like it's a tougher position, cornerback to than safety. It's a lot more responsibility. And then the Chicago Bears, DJ Moore, excited for Keenan Allen edition, and it says it might be a race for 1,000 yards. Yeah, Chicago Bears had money. They had the cat room for a Keenan Allen. How many teams had room for a Keenan Allen on their team? And we got the mock draft, and it's like, okay, we got the mock draft. You see, there really is nothing much. There isn't that much news for Sylvester. Well, it's an hour and 4 minutes. I guess we'll kind of wrap this up, Sylvester? I'll put you back in the window. You can look outside if you want, or you can look at the TV if you want. I know you're not really interested right now in the TV, Sylvester, because there's no football, and then we'll watch. I guess we'll watch Ancient Aliens tonight, or the proof is out there. Because well, I don't know what sports I'm going to watch tonight. You know what I mean? There's no UFL to watch, so I don't think there's any sports I'm really interested in watching, except being that sports news review. I kind of got interested in watching other sports for like a Friday night and Saturday night. Now, but between now and the NFL start, I'm like all in on other sports. Right now is the time. I'm not gonna be totally devoted to other sports like I am now. Like I'm thinking Sylvester, you know what I mean? I'm going. You see the TV on when it comes on. It's like I'm trying to watch sports from around the world, which is hard with a regular cable package. You really don't get the TSNs and the sport in Ontario. TSNs and Sportsnet. They once in a while they'll have other sports, but but soccer doesn't count. I don't. It's just too easy. I kind of yeah, soccer, NSL soccer. Yeah, I'm only interested in Toronto FC. That's it. That's it. But it's like it's weird. It's so like I said, Sylvester. If it's NFL, I'm all in. I'm watching the NFL. Like it doesn't matter what. It's Monday Night Football. I'm watching it. Sunday Night Football. I'm watching it. Thursday Night Football. I'm watching it. Sunday afternoon games. I'm watching. Buffalo Bills. That's the one team. As you know, I'm all in on. Okay, so it comes to NFL. That's my view. That's my interest. Totally interested in the NFL. Uh, NHL hockey. I have no interest in watching any regular season NHL game, and I don't have to worry about the Toronto Maple Leafs not making it in the playoffs. I could see them making it. I can't see them not making it in the playoffs. So there's pretty well. There's no regular season game that has a must-have watched game. I mean, uh, the Toronto Maple Leafs will be in the playoffs, and then NBA. They got that playing game, and the Raptors last year. I did that quick live stream. I didn't even realize. Wait a minute, there's a playing game. And the Toronto Raptors versus the Chicago Bulls. Remember that? I was like, oh well. See, if there's another one of those, if NHL should do those playing games, they seem interesting. I mean, if Toronto was not having such a good year and they were kind of like on the border of not making the playoffs, but they had a play-in game, you'd see me going, "Oh right, I would actually do the live stream of the Toronto Maple Leafs play-in game for the NHL." So NBA got that one good. They got it right on that one. The play-in games. I think it's between the 8th and 9th team. It's just I like it. It really got my interest. Um, yeah. So of course, and then Major League Baseball start its season's kicking in soon. I think it's already started. I'm not sure, but in Ontario, was not a problem for Major League Baseball ever since they had the. I don't wait. Doesn't baseball start in April or something like that? Is this still spring training? I don't even know anymore, Sylvester. But it really doesn't matter in Ontario because Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Blue Jays got the what do they call it? I guess the Rogers Center. Like that's the name now. I mean, you got the Rogers Center, and so it's something that shouldn't like even though the Rogers Center is a dome and it's got to be the best venue for baseball to have in northern climate, especially with being by a Great Lake, which is Ontario, and having Lake Erie not farther down. I mean, there's a lot of lake effect snow, like a lake effect weather can happen. So, uh, yeah, having a dome for baseball is perfect for Toronto, and Like I said, well, and then my last thing is the UFL, United Football League. Sylvester, I don't know. Should we even do some UFL news segments too? Like, I guess we could do UFL and NFL news with Sylvester. I could just put the UFL on top of the and NFL because I mean I suppose UFL and NFL news with Sylvester when the UFL starts. Yeah, well, because we could do more news instead of me just trying to do so much of this and not a lot of the analysis because there's just not that much news. There's just so little news right now. But okay, so I've been long-winded. It's been a few pauses here and there on my behalf where I got the break. I guess that someone tell me. Well, I'm gonna go answer this phone anyway. So I'm over and out. So Sylvester and I were both over and out.